Enough is enough. Israel begins reshaping the Middle East. Bibi made a visit to the UN, and just like his speech to Congress, the people who really needed to hear it protested by skipping it or walking out. I thought it was a great speech, but my favorite part was when he called the UN a house of darkness and swamp of anti-Semitic bile. That's the truth, and people tend to dislike truth tellers. Here's the full speech below. Perhaps more important than the speech itself is what was happening during it. Nasrallah, we now know, was killed by an Israeli Air Force strike and can no longer subject the Israeli, Lebanese, and Syrian people to untold horrors. Let's not forget what Nasrallah was, a butcher who indiscriminately killed civilians, including Americans. Let's take a look at some of his heroic exploits. Like that time Hezbollah bombed the U.S. Embassy in Beirut and killed 24 in 1984. Or the time Hezbollah bombed the Israeli Embassy in Buenos Aires, killing 29 in 1992. Or most recently, when Hezbollah indiscriminately used drones and rockets on Druze, kids playing soccer in northern Israel, and killed 12 of them. The world is better and safer place without Nasrallah. For those who still believe this conflict is about land, I don't know what to tell you at this point. Israel did everything she could to not invade Lebanon and signaled to Hezbollah in countless ways their unprovoked rocket barrages that depopulated Israel's northern territories were crossing redlines. Israel withdrew from Gaza in 2005 unilaterally for nothing in return. No amount of compromise will ever satiate radical Islamists who are hell-bent on Israel's destruction and who believe more broadly that Jews should be wiped out globally. If the world had moral clarity and courage, they would seize this moment to support Israel politically, so they can finish the job of defanging Iran and stabilizing the Middle East. Unfortunately, the current U.S. administration has no such courage or conscience. You cannot compromise with people who want to kill you, and I applaud Bibi for standing up to a U.S. administration trying to impose their own suicidal foreign policy strategy on Israel. As the IDF soldiers prepare to go into Lebanon, know they are doing so on behalf of all people, not just so Israelis can return to their homes, but for Palestinians who are oppressed by Hamas, for Lebanese civilians who are oppressed by Hezbollah, for the Iranian people who are oppressed by the IRGC, and the Yemenites who are oppressed by the Houthis. If we want to ever see peace in the Middle East, these threats must be neutralized, and Iran's evil agenda must be confronted directly. What does the day after look like? De-radicalized, secure, peaceful, bright. To get there, we must tread through darkness. Israel is facing an existential threat, and unless you're fighting for your own survival on 7 fronts, you don't get to criticize how she does it. Bibi, keep ignoring criticism from leaders who secretly and overtly seek Israel's destruction. Keep ignoring Western democracies who forgot how to win wars and who have lost the will to defend their own borders. Fight like lions. Bring the hostages home. How can you help Israel right now? For those in Maccabee Nation looking to help, here are some ways to do it. 1. Find nonprofits doing good work. Citrus and Salt has been working nonstop to provide hot meals for soldiers and their families while they are deployed. See link in the comments. 2. Write soldiers a letter. I'm happy to publish any open letter here and to send it to IDF soldiers I know in Gaza and Lebanon on your behalf. If you DM me a letter, I will try to connect with you with a pen pal in the IDF, although please be patient on correspondence back. 3. If you're in America, vote what's in your heart for who you believe will stand up for civil rights of Jews and who will be tough on the Iranian terror regime in November. Al Ballesteros recently wrote, "To put things into perspective, the 22 Arab countries are 650 times larger than Israel. The Arab world is the size of the U.S. and has a population of nearly 500 million. Israel is the size of Massachusetts and has a population of 9.5 million, of which 21% are Arabs too. The ones who demand diversity in the West want to kill diversity in the Middle East. Let's stop apologizing for defending the one tiny Jewish state we have. I don't see anyone else attacking the dozens of other nations with crescents and crosses on their flags. Thanks for listening. Stay classy, Maccabee Nation."